The lesson is focusing on healing in the gospel. And I found this quotation out of the book Testimonies to the Church, Volume 6. And I wanted to unpack it with you, and let's go through the implications and the meaning. It's quite insightful. See if you agree or disagree. Again and again I have been instructed that the medical missionary work is to bear the same relation to the work of the third angel's message as the arm and hand bear to the body. What is the message of the three angels?
Gospel of God.
The gospel, the good news about
God.
Because we're going to worship Him who
Created.
So it's a message that good news is about God's character, who is the creator, and His laws are what kind? Design laws. It's a call back to creator worship, the good news of who God really is. Right, so this is the three angels' message. Now the health message is to be the right arm to that message. So what kind of law does medical practice operate upon? The laws of health are design laws. They're medical. So you can see how the medical practice would be right arm to this message of understanding God as creator. It's design law, how reality works. If you break the laws of health, you're not in legal trouble. You don't have to go before a judge. You don't need to get legal pardon or forgiveness. You don't need to get someone to take your disease. What you need is you need a remedy. You need healing. And if you don't get it, there's a consequence that comes to bear. So the health message is the right arm to the three angels message, which is a call to call people out of imperial law, Babylon, Rome worship of a dictator God to worship creator, designer, builder of reality. This makes it effective. Now, continuing on with the quote. Under the direction of the divine head, they are to work unitedly in preparing the way for the coming of Christ. The right arm of the body of truth is to be constantly active, constantly at work, and God will strengthen it. But it is not to be made the body. That's very straightforward. Not to be made the body? Simple. That our message isn't you will get better physical health on this earth in your mortal bodies, and that's the good news. The good news is you can live an extra 7 years if you do this. That's God's good news for you. That's not the good news. The good news is eternal life through Jesus Christ that can be modeled in the health message, but the message of the gospel is not simply physiological improvement in a mortal body. That's not the message. So we don't want to get diverted onto that. But that doesn't mean that the health message isn't the most impactful to show the reality of the plan of salvation. Now get this one. At the same time, the body is not to say to the arm, I have no need of thee. The body has need of the arm in order to do active, aggressive work. What if we divorce the gospel message from the medical work? What happens if we do that? Might we risk falling into a penal legal presentation and the work falters? We stagnate. Christianity begins to wither and die. What's happening to Christianity around the world? What's happening in Europe? What's happening in America? Because we're not presenting it as design law, we're presenting it as imperialism. And so we have cut the right arm, and the gospel is withering.
We're evangelizing out of here.
Yes, yes. The medical missionary work should be a part of the work of every church in our land. Now, this is going to blow your mind. Wendell, you should listen to this. Okay? Because Wendell's a doc. He'll get this. Disconnected from the church, it would soon become a strange medley of disorganized atoms. It would consume, but not produce. Let that percolate a minute. Medical work disconnected from the gospel will consume but not produce. Healthcare disconnected from the gospel of changed hearts, self-responsibility, self-control, abstinence of life, in other words, a conscientious life. Healthcare divorced from the gospel produces what? It produces self-indulgence and ever more healthcare spending as we live undisciplined, self-indulgent lives and go to the doctor to have our medical diseases treated, and we consume. And look at America. Has the wealth of America been consumed by the healthcare industry treating diseases? But have we actually produced ever-increasing healthy people? No, we have not. This is the reason I think COVID is doing what COVID is doing. If you look at what COVID is doing, it's killing the people who have high inflammation. People who baseline have inflammation in their body. Diabetics, obese people, sedentary people, people who eat junk food, fast food diets. These are the people that once the COVID hits them, their immune response kicks up a cytokine storm, overwhelms their body, and they have bad outcomes, by and large. This is the group. People who are generally healthy, who eat a healthy diet, who exercise regularly, who have a low inflammatory status as a baseline when they get it, they roll through it not so bad, and they come out the other side without seriousness, by and large. Why do we have so many obese, inflamed people in this country? Because we've divorced health care from the gospel. You can live any way you want, eat anything you want, do anything you want, go to the doctor and get a pill for it. Yes?
Society has built up a type of belief system of give me a pill so I don't have to change my lifestyle.
That's exactly right. Do anything you want, get a pill. Consume, consume, consume. Are we in a consumer society? Produce? No. Over there, yes.
On the cellular level, in medicine, things that consume but do not produce looks a lot like normal cells initially, but turns into cancer.
That's true. Or viruses. Or viruses. Instead of acting as God's helping hand to forward his truth, medical practice divorced from the gospel would sap the life and force from the church and weaken the message. Conducted independently, it would not only consume talent and means needed in other lines, but in the very work of helping the helpless apart from the ministry of the word, it would place men where they would scoff at the Bible, at Bible truth. Do we see that happening today? The gospel ministry is needed to give permanence and stability to the medical missionary work. And the ministry needs the medical missionary work to demonstrate the practical working of the gospel. Whoa! You see, just living a healthy lifestyle does not give you eternal life. It's not permanent. Okay? The gospel in a penal legal model without the principles of health, the design law, is not practical. It's impractical. To make it practical, you have to understand the principles that apply in practical living. And so both need to be put together. It's quite profound, quite wise. Let's go on to Monday's lesson.